Good morning, Chaparral staff and students. Today is September 9th, and this is Thursday's Thoughts. I'm going to go ahead and begin with the screen you see shared here. On the screen, it's the theme called kindness. Now, kindness to me is something that is very important and something I want to encourage you as students and staff to make an intentional habit of practicing kindness. Now, we've been at school for a month. Hard to believe it's been a month, a great month. We started on August 9th, and here we are, September 9th. After 1 month of school, I've observed kindness in many forms. I'll give you an example. Every morning, we make it a habit of standing out in front of school and seeing cars arrive, dropping students off. And one of the biggest things that I notice is parents kindly waving back. And other things I've observed are students as they exit the car, and I greet them and say, "Good morning," and hear them respond with, "Good morning." That simple act of kindness goes a long way. Honestly, it makes my morning to hear your voices, even if it's behind a mask, but to hear you guys respond to students that early in the morning, even if some of you are not morning people like myself, it really goes a long way. Just hearing you guys take that initiative to say good morning or even wave, like I said. So I'm going to encourage you guys to keep doing that. And if you're somebody who says, oops, I wasn't quite awake, I do remember Mrs. Loera or other staff members in the morning say good morning to me, and for whatever reason you didn't respond, I'm going to encourage you to make that a new habit, to practice that small act of kindness that goes a long way. Other things I've seen are students smiling, and you're going to say, "Ms. Loera, how can you see that we're smiling? We're wearing a mask." Believe it or not, your eyes really show me your reaction, your smiles. So smile back. Even if you think I can't see your smile underneath that mask, it's your eyes that really brighten up our days. So whether you're in 6th grade, 7th grade, or 8th grade, just make it a habit. It really changes perspective on somebody's day. I'm going to go through and point out on the screen here, it says, "No act of kindness, however small, is ever wasted." And on the other side, it says, "Kindness is everything." So help me spread kindness. Small acts go a long way. Now you'll see me there with my little Bitmoji and hot cocoa or coffee, whistling some tunes there. That's just my habit of remembering that everything's going to turn out all right, and making sure that I take a little time to make sure to greet each other. Kindness. Yes, that's a little squirrel up there. Sometimes we have our squirrel moments where we're looking left and right. But if you have somebody cross your path, just greet them. "Good morning. How are you? Thank you. Have a great weekend. See you tomorrow." Now, here's just some more examples of kindness. I'm going to go past the top one and point out that it says, "Open the door for someone." That is a small act of kindness. Believe it or not, I've seen students turn around and hold the door open for the person behind them. Thank you for doing that. Nobody made you do that, but it really goes a long way. So students, keep that up. Staff, teachers, many of you students will see your teachers over by the front door as you enter class, and they're either holding the door open or standing at the door to greet you. Keep it up. We see you. Thank you. Again, it just makes up a nice environment that makes everybody feel welcome. Small acts of kindness go a long way. I'm going to go through and transition into this next image here. So my second Thursday thought is this image here. It says, "No day shall erase you from the memory of time." And it quotes Virgil. Now this picture is a personal one. It's one of a trip that my family took. This is actually part of a museum, the 9/11 Memorial. And I wanted to transition to this Thursday thought because we started with kindness, and I wanted to wrap up with the word remembrance. Today is September 9th, but in 2 more days, it will be September 11th, which this year lands on a Saturday. Many of you will be with your family, friends, loved ones, and will not be here at school because there is no school in session that day. But I want you to take the time to remember September 11th. It marks 20 years since the remembrance of our first responders and families and friends that were impacted by 9/11. Now, some of you were, well, all of you who are students were most likely not born at that time. And so it's a historical point for those of us who were around that time. I was teaching in a different school many years ago, again, 20 years ago, and I remember that day vividly. And what I remember 20 years ago is that seeing images and videos of 9/11 really made a lot of us come to a standstill and pause and just think about what had taken place that day. This is not just something that you could go home this weekend and ask your parents. I'm pretty sure you can Google 9/11 Remembrance or 9/11 Memorial Museum, and you can do your own Thursday's thoughts carrying into the weekend to find out more about what took place in that day. But for me personally, it was a morning that was like no other, in the sense that I was getting a lot of phone calls and people telling me, turn on the news, something big is happening. And the images that I saw in the video from the news was something that, like, my jaw dropped, and I couldn't believe the images that I was seeing. And I say that because, again, first responders were responding to something unlike anything I had ever seen before. So I go from this museum that we visited to this next piece. This is actual video from our visit at the museum. And you'll see here one of the fire trucks that was responding to 9/11. And I'll play a clip here. Now, I shared that because part of the museum, there was an area where anybody who visited the 9/11 memorial could go through and sign a note of remembrance. I saw it as a thought of kindness, of appreciation and gratitude for the first responders that were there 20 years ago. And so it connected for me my first Thursday thought of kindness to now fast forward to Saturday, September 11th, Remembrance. So gratitude, it really goes a long way. And thinking about what this moment in history represented for me and for maybe many adults, it was a unique day in history that for us should never be forgotten. And for that very reason, tomorrow during advocacy, you will hear an announcement that will ask us to do a moment of silence. That moment of silence is really for us to pause and respect and honor anybody who's lost a loved one 20 years ago, or even more recently, in light of our current times. So we'll ask that you guys take that moment of silence to really pay some time to think and to think of where we're at 20 years later after 9/11. So I'm going to go through and say, with that, Thursday's thoughts. Please remember that I'm encouraging you guys to take an effort to share kindness, whether it's in a note of gratitude or a small act of holding the door open, smiling behind your mask, waving, greeting somebody, saying hello, good morning, good afternoon. I think of a recent movie I saw, The New Guy, said, don't have a good day, have a great day. So I encourage you guys to have a great day, spread kindness, and take this weekend to remember and ask questions about 9/11, this memorial that we have 20 years later. So with that, I wish you a great Thursday and an even better Friday and September 11th, this coming Saturday. Take care, everybody.